Welcome to a very special Boxes and Bubbles where today we're looking at Rangers of the Divide, published by Dark Horse Comics.
Written, drawn, coloured and lettered by Megan Huang. This is a really special Boxes and Bubbles because I got to read and review this comic before it was released, so I was able to put this video out on release day. I'm super grateful and feel very lucky to have been given this opportunity as such a new and teeny tiny channel. Megan put out the call for reviewers on Twitter, so I replied to ask permission, and she very sweetly said yes. So I'm stoked to be doing what feels like a really real review so soon after starting up. So a big thank you to Megan, really, thank you so much. This is so exciting. So since we're jumping in at number 3, what's the story here? Well, issue 1 begins by telling us about the world the characters we're going to meet are living in. For the ever-warring nations of Vale and Rillian, there is but one factor that unites them. The ancient military order known as the Rangers of the Divide. Inducted as children, their fearsome warriors are a neutral entity, acting as peacekeepers and protectors who patrol the wild borders between nations. Only during times of crisis are the Rangers authorized to leave their post, and now a mysterious new threat looms. So, right off the bat, we know who the Rangers are, the state of the world, and that dire trouble is coming. And so does Commander Knight, though he doesn't let on to us or his recruits exactly what it is. Unfortunately for him, they're all fresh-faced, brand new recruits. The officer in charge of their group, plus everyone else in the outpost, have left to deal with the new threat already, leaving him to catch up alongside this group of stragglers. Look how cute they are! Even Commander Knight, who's kind of a curmudgeon, has a cuteness to his face. I think it's thanks to all the exaggerated features. Speaking of cute, the Rangers also ride dragons, and they're so cute! They're drawn so rounded and soft and pudgy looking, and they have these big eyes that kind of remind me of a couple of Pokemon or the flying dragon creatures in the anime Dragon Pilot Hisone and Masotan. The colour palette matches the cuteness of the style so well, and there's lots of nice vistas in the first 2 issues. There's something about the pastel colours in the first 2 issues that feels very warm and cozy, though most of issue 3 is in darker environments. Anyway, there isn't time for the training these cuties need, and that's the main crux of the plot. Disaster has struck at the worst possible time. Commander Knight needs to rejoin the rest of the Rangers, however he's aware of how completely underprepared and undertrained this bunch are, going so far as to say that it's likely they'll suffer heavy losses. From that, it seems that this book is going to go one of 2 ways. Either this is an against all odds overcoming adversity story, or all of these kids are going to die! Even after issue 3, I can't really tell which way it's going to go. The plan for now is to head north to Pretoria to help the people there prepare for whatever is coming. Along their way, in issue 2, one of the cadets is distracted by an abandoned temple and runs off to explore it. Inside, he finds some weird statues and sacrificial altars, and his book tells him that a race of people called the Tall Men used to live in settlements in this forest. There's a bit of foreboding by the narrator who tells us that the Tall Men met a dark fate. Outside, Commander Knight is about to leave the missing members of the group behind because bad weather is coming in. It turns out to be a very rare, destructive magnetic storm. The group just barely make it to safe ground when some lightning begins to strike, and that's where issue 2 ended. So now you're up to speed. Let's talk about issue 3. In the midst of the storm, a gigantic creature called a squall owl begins to chase everybody, and one of the cadets is hit by lightning from the storm. As she goes to ground, the squall owl makes a grab for her, but Commander Knight is able to chase it off at the very last second. It comes back for a second attack though, but thanks to some quick thinking, Commander Knight is able to talk Cadet Frost through some maneuvers that save her. In the midst of the chaos though, she catches sight of something for a split second. Later on, she mentions it to Knight and asks him if he's ever seen a huge figure like the one that she did. She thinks what she saw is different from the tall men we heard about last issue. Knight's internal monologue says yes, but he lies to her and says no, waving her off and saying that she was probably disoriented. We've known all along that Knight has been keeping just how much danger they're all in a secret, but now he's straight up lying to his charges, to their faces. For all the things he's doing to protect the cadets, the mission is the only thing important to him, and I get the feeling that the only reason he's been saving the cadets is because they could benefit that mission. The group takes some time to camp and rest up, though Commander Knight tells them that they're 14 days ride, that's by flying dragon remember, to their destination of Pretoria. That's a long and grueling ride. My butt feels sore just thinking about it. Jeez. While they're camping, our buddy Brant, the guy who was keeping everybody waiting in issue 2, confides in his sister and tells her that he's secretly been feeling terrified every step of this journey and that he's scared that he's not going to make it. She gives him a pep talk and tells him that everyone's feeling that way. But this moment of sweetness is overlaid by monologue from Knight, who says that for the weak, death is guaranteed and that it's closer than we think. And the issue ends on this image of Brant kind of grimacing and looking kind of sad. Oh. The art in this book is just lovely, and all the more impressive because this is a one-creator solo book. All of the line work is very thin, and as I mentioned before, the colour choices are so snuggly and warm. The human characters are all very cute, and have kind of a Disney-esque feel to their faces and expressions. The dragons are adorable and look so puffy I want to smush their chubby little faces. But I can't shake the dread that hangs over the whole thing. If this is a story of triumph, the art complements a feel-good story. But if it's a tragedy though, the cuteness is going to drive that home hard. Megan's doing a great job of keeping us guessing and sprinkling on foreboding. There's one particularly dark thing that happens in issue 3, which I decided to omit since it's a pretty dramatic moment that I didn't want to spoil. I will tell you though, it's a big old tease and it calls some things very much into question. Things are ramping up, and after the ending of this issue, it feels like issue 4 is where we're finally going to find out what kind of story this is going to be.
So a big thank you again to Megan Huang for giving me the chance to review this comic book early. And as always, if you're interested in any other books that came out recently, make sure to check out the rest of the channel for more spoiler-free reviews, and follow along on Twitter @BoxesandBubbles to hear about some more books I didn't have time to make videos for. That's all for today, but I'll catch you next time.